I voted for Trump, and I wish I voted for Kamala. Reason being is that Kamala said that Trump would surrender Ukraine, and at the time, I thought she was stupid. I thought she was playing it up.
Imagine being so fucking terrified and scared of black women that you voted for the clown car that's happening right now. Imagine feeling so fucking inferior to intelligent black women that you voted for a convicted felon. You voted for a reality TV host, a failed.
If I could be honest, Kamala Harris would not have attacked Iran. And Kamala Harris would not have been responsible for 25% of the national debt increase. And Kamala Harris would not have done a rug pull where she gets $1.4 billion in her own pocket. And Kamala Harris would not have put zero effort into investigating all the people who went to Jeff Epstein Island after they passed a bill to expose the people who went to Jeff Epstein Island. So, yeah.
I was told that if I voted for Kamala Harris in 2024, terrible things would happen. You know, grocery prices would go through the roof. Nobody'd be able to fucking afford anything. And we'd be at war within a year. And it looks like they were right. I voted for Kamala Harris in 2024. 77 million of you window-licking, bigoted pieces of shit. We're not smart enough to do the same. And now, grocery prices are through the roof. Nobody can fucking afford anything. And we all just watched a demented septuagenarian do his best Lord Farquaad impression, talking about some of you may die, as he drags us into a war that is, by his own admission, without congressional approval. So I ask you this today, MAGA. How you fucking feeling? I hope all you MAGA chuds that never shut the fuck up about he's the president of peace and we can't have a woman president, she might start a war on her time of the month, are ready to go die in the Middle East for a president who started a war so we'd all forget that he's best friends with a bunch of fucking pedophiles. Excellent work, dumb fuck. I'll leave you with a quote from the president that you love to support. Our president will start a war with Iran because he's completely unable to negotiate. He's weak and ineffective. I tell you to think on that, but you have clearly been spared the burdens of intelligence. So instead, I'm going to tell you to get fucked.
On day one, Donald Trump will walk into that office with an enemies list.
It was almost like Kamala Harris was psychic or something. She was right about everything.
MAGA was right, y'all. They said if you voted for Kamala, that gas prices would go up. We'd be in a war with Iran. Jobs would be harder to get. The economy would be a mess. And elections would never be the same. Well, I voted for Kamala, and here we are.
If you're backing Donald Trump right now, I just have to say, like, how? Right? And I voted for Trump, by the way, because, you know, I voted for Trump because Biden was falling up the stairs and doing sketchy stuff. And so there's no way I could vote for Kamala again, right?
Y'all have to watch this. It's like this woman predicted how it was going to be if Donald Trump was elected into office. And oh my gosh, it's like, why didn't she run for president? Y'all have to look at this. Look at this.
For everyone who didn't believe Kamala when she said, if you give him power back, he's going to turn into a dictator. For everyone who didn't listen to Kamala when she said, look at his policies, they're going to make prices go up. Now you can take his word for it. Over the weekend, first he said on Friday, I couldn't care less if they raise prices. I couldn't care less. I hope they raise their prices. No, I couldn't care less. Talking about the effects of his tariffs and the inflation they'll bring. And then today, Sunday, Trump won't rule out seeking a third term in the White House. He tells NBC News there are methods for doing so. When asked to clarify, no, I'm not joking. Great.
Consider what he intends to do if we give him power again. Consider his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol.
Donald Trump isn't just the source of the problem. He is also a symptom. That awful
all kind of symptom that festers, when you don't treat the underlying disease. In this case, the concentration of power. And make no mistake, there is a cabal of co-conspirators around him who coddle his corruption. Corruption that, by the way, is no victimless crime. Every minute they tend to his fragile ego is a minute they're doing nothing to help you. They would rather put money in his pockets than help you afford health care. They would rather build his gilded ballroom than reduce your grocery bill. They would rather try to silence their critics than help you fill your gas tank. Their people deploy ICE to terrorize our neighbors who will not lift a finger to help you make rent. They'll spend $125 billion on Trump's war in Iran, while folks can't even cover their basic needs here in America. This is the most callous, corrupt, and incompetent administration in America's history.
Understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
The North Dakota Supreme Court just reinstated a criminal abortion ban with devastating consequences for pregnant women who aren't even seeking abortion. Let me explain. Every abortion is now automatically considered a felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison, unless the doctor can prove to a jury that one of these exceptions applied, which means that doctors will only treat cases that look 100% defensible in court, even if that means the patient suffers. Routine complications that used to be treated early will now be allowed to progress because treating them too soon could look like an illegal abortion. Pregnant women will suffer longer and face a higher risk of danger from preventable conditions that could have been treated earlier, which is exactly what's happening in other states with similar bans. This ruling forces doctors to run on legal fear instead of medical judgment.
She's a woman who is a conservative. She's pro-life. She voted for Trump. But she's regretting her decision because now she's pregnant with her third child. She's older. And there might be some complications with the child might not make it. And her doctor's saying, hey, you may need to go out of state to get a late-term abortion, right? So she's going through a panic. And she calls her husband to tell her what the doctor says. And her husband said, no, that's just a liberal doctor. Don't worry about it. First off, to that woman who's in this situation, I'm sorry. I hope the worst case scenario does not happen. I hope you have a healthy baby with no complications. I would never want anything to happen to you and your child. Never. I don't understand this need to listen to your husband over a medical professional. I don't get it. That's why a lot of us don't mess around with religion. That's why a lot of us don't play around with conservative men. Because I would want a husband, because everybody's like liberal husbands are, my liberal husband would immediately go, what state? How much money we need to gather? Let's find a doctor. Here's a directory. That is the type of partner you want. The problem with conservative men is that they think they know everything and they think they own their wives, even at the detriment of their wives. I don't understand, ma'am, how you could listen to a man that's not a doctor and politicians about your health care versus your doctor. And we have been telling y'all for so long, this narrative that they are pushing about late-term abortions, wrong. It's wrong. It's only if there's something wrong with the baby. It's not just for the fun of it. Because if that were the case, then that would just be murder. Trump, Greg Abbott, your husband, they are not going to help you if things ever really took a turning point.
Baby, when Kamala said these things, baby, she didn't lie. Number one, Trump is a man governed by grievances, one who would focus on himself and his enemies list. I don't see a lie there. Baby, when Kamala said Trump will use the military on his own American citizens, I don't see a lie there either. When she said that Trump is unstable, he is unhinged, baby, that ain't a lie either. And when she called him a petty tyrant, baby, she didn't lie either. When she said on day one, when Trump will step foot in that White House, baby, he is coming after them enemies. And baby, he ain't stopped doing that since he went into that White House. Tell me Kamala did not warn folks. She warned folks, and folks still did not listen.
So I have a question for you guys. With everything going on, with the government shutdown, with Trump, with everything, isn't it almost like everything Kamala said would happen has happened? I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me know.
Kamala was so right about Trump. It was like she read his thoughts, his intentions, and the tea leaves way before anybody else. From cover to cover, up, down, left, and right.
If you're backing Donald Trump right now, I just have to say, like, how, right? And I voted for Trump, by the way, because, I voted for Trump because Biden was falling up the stairs and doing sketchy stuff. And so there's no way I could vote for Kamala again, right? But I just have to say, like, if you are supporting Trump right now, how? How are you still supporting him? Because, what has he done? Like, what has he really stuck to? I mean, the Big Beautiful Bill Act, like, what the hell was that? Like, no tax on purchase of cars and interest. It's for new vehicles. Who buys a new vehicle? Nobody. It depreciates 30% off the lot. What is the point of that? And dude's cutting Medicaid, right? Like, healthcare for the poorest of the poor? Like, how is that even feasible, right? Like, that's embarrassing, man. Like, truly. And, and we're not even going to get into the fact that he said that he's going to do no wars. This is exactly why I voted for him, right? Because we had Ukraine, Russia, you had Israel, Gaza. I mean, it was looking bad. To me, war is the worst thing that there is. I don't care for America and, we have a better, standard here. You know what I mean? It's a person is a person. They should not be dying. And, to just see this whole Iran situation unfold with no ending in sight, like, I don't understand how people can support Trump right now. I really just truly don't.
And not a day goes by that I don't blame y'all for making that orange man president, because we really could have had Big Sister General as our president. Like, we could have had a Jamaican as a president. Like, we could have had a silk press queen. Like, what? Nah, bro. Like, we failed that group assignment, guys. Like, we really failed. Like, how y'all let her slip through our fingers? Like,
While y'all been over there thirsting over Madam Vice President, the Honorable Kamala Harris, while y'all all there busy in them comments, I hope while y'all having freak-offs in the comments under them Kamala Harris edits, y'all be paying attention to what she's saying in the video. Side note, y'all know y'all own Kamala Harris internet. Of course y'all know. This Gen Z I'm talking to, they don't care. Midterms is coming up. Now is the time. It's time to lock in. It's genuinely time to lock in. Like, if you're not doing nothing else, lock in on midterms, please. Make sure everybody and their mama is registered to vote. And not only that, if you've been paying attention, you know Miss Harris been talking about some vote by mail. That's not for no reason. That's not because she fell out of coconut tree. Hello? We exist in the context of a fucked up ass country right now, and the current administration is hell bent on destroying our livelihood. Kamala, if you watching this, Madam Vice President, add attention.